Okay, today we're going to do a short video on some of the tools that you're going to see on a PARCC test. We aren't going to actually take the test. We're just going to talk about some of those tools, and then in another video we're going to talk about the types of questions that you would see on the test. So to begin, we are going to use the Harrisburg Middle School Computer Lab website, and we want to go to the second link that is labeled PARCC. That brings us to the Partnership for Assessment of Readiness for College and Careers, and if you look under test preparation, you'll see that we can choose practice tests. And to show you the tools, we're going to look at the mathematics, but the literature tests or the language literature tests have these exact same tools, but the math is going to have a couple extras. So we're going to go ahead and look at this one for the basic tool set. So I clicked on the practice test, and I would have to pick my grade level. We're going to look at grade 6, and I'm going to look at the performance-based practice test, the computer-based test. So I'm going to go ahead and click on that. It allows me to log in as a student. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I would now tell you that while you're watching this video, you may want to pause and please read through these instructions, and you're going to want to do that on the test. Pay attention. They're telling you some important things that you're going to see. But for time's sake, I'm going to go ahead and hit the selection. And then what I'm going to talk about today are these tools that are right up here across the top. This is obviously a multiple choice question, and we're going to talk about the different types of questions that you would see on a test in another video, but we're just going to talk about the tools that are available across the top. The arrows allow us to advance from one question to another, so as we advance through, we can go to different questions. The review lets us see at any time where we are on our test. If we see that we've looked at 3 of them, but we haven't answered any of them, we can see if we flagged as well. The flag is indeed what we would see if we flagged one and went back to our review. Now we would see that, oh, this was one we wanted to come back to. And then the tools across the top. The pointer tool, of course, lets you make a selection. It's going to let you drag and drop. It's going to let you click on a pull-down bar. It's really the tool that you use to do almost all your answering. The protractor is a tool that floats above your screen, and if you're needing to measure an angle, the circles allow you to rotate. To turn it off, you simply turn it back off. The ruler allows you to measure. I do want to point out with this tool that the 0 is not on the very end of the ruler, so when you're measuring, make sure that you line that up with whatever it is that you're going to measure. The 0 needs to be on the end. Again, once you rotate it, I found that it's very hard to get it level again, so the easiest way is to turn it off and turn it back on if I needed to line it up with something that was actually level on my screen. Okay, we're going to turn that off. The next tool is called an answer eliminator. We have looked at this, and for most of the students, most of you who are watching this video, you're probably not going to need this tool, but we want to show you all of these so that while you're taking the test, you're not going to stumble on one of these and wonder what it does and spend time playing with the tool when you really need to be engaged in the test. But the answer eliminator lets you pick and hide answers that you don't think are possible, and then to select the one you want, you're still going to have to go back and pick your pointer arrow and click on the actual radio dial. So whether or not you need that, probably most of the time you're not, and to turn them off, you just turn the answer eliminator on and click away again. So that's what that tool is, just so you know. Probably won't necessarily need it because I think most of you can look at for multiple choice and rule it out in your head, but it is there if you do need it. Under the guess drop down, there are going to be some things I want to show you. Again, probably not things that are going to be that useful to you, but if we show them to you now, then you won't stumble on them during the test and spend time here when you need to be spending time here. So the first one is the background color. And there probably really are indeed a few people that have some vision that need a particular screen. And if you do, because you've been exposed to this, you've seen it, you need to talk to your teacher ahead of time, because otherwise we're going to leave it at the default. So if you know you need a different color background, please talk to the test administrator prior to the test so that that can be done and we know you're not playing with that tool. So leave it black on white. We're going to go ahead and hit continue. We're going to go right down. We're going to look at the magnifier. That lets you magnify things. Again, very hard to read with, but there are some people that are actually what we would call legally blind that really do need a magnifying glass to read with. So we're going to go ahead and disable the magnifier. We want to show the line reader. This lets you, especially in a reading passage, read line at a time, and this lets you control the size. And again, most of you have been reading paragraphs and you don't have to have something to follow lines, but some of you do, and if you do, this is the tool that you would use. And again, you want to make sure that you let your teacher know that you need it, I think, and then that way no one's going to think that you're just in those tools. And then the last one is enable answer masking. And it lets you show and hide the answers. But you still have to pick an answer. Just because I have that highlighted, if I hadn't picked D, if I think C is really the answer and so I cover all of them up, it doesn't mean that it's the right answer until I actually click on the little circle and put a dot in it. And we're going to go ahead and disable those. But those are basically the tools that you will see on your test. The reading test will not have the protractor and the ruler.